I'm Aveline and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today we are building another house, and this one I'd like to call it a tiny house because it is technically for 3 Sims. It's only, or the household that I had in mind was only 2 Sims, but you could fit 3 Sims into this house because one of the bedrooms does have a double bed, so it is possible to make it for 3 Sims. I just only imagined 2 Sims to live here, so I wanted to build something off campus, and because it's been requested, but not like university housing off campus, not a proper kind of, like one of those kinds of houses. Something a little bit smaller, but you'd still have students living there. And then someone asked me a couple of days ago if I could build something like a party house for students too. So that is what we're doing. I'm combining the two, basically. So we're building an off-campus tiny party house. I know there's a lot going on there, but hopefully it's making some sort of sense. So that is basically what we're doing today. I thought this house would be for 2 students who don't really care about school that much. They're kind of just in university to, party and stuff. So I was trying to make it quite obvious in the interior. They don't have a lot of books lying around. One of them does have a desk with a laptop on it, but I'm not saying that they're using that for school stuff either. So it's pretty much just, it's very messy, it's very colorful, like very colorful. So if you don't like colorful builds, this is probably not for you, but I just really wanted to go overboard with the colors. Like I just wanted to go a little bit crazy. So I don't, like, it's not super crazy colorful. There's just a lot of colors compared to what I've done recently. So hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, that is what we're doing. I can see why some people wouldn't call this a tiny house, but in my opinion, I feel like tiny houses are, like the sizes of tiny houses are very subjective. So some people say that some of my houses aren't tiny houses, but others say that they aren't. There's no correct answer for that because it is subjective, so I could see why some people wouldn't call this a tiny house, but in my opinion it is. So, but yeah, it's definitely a bit on the bigger side, I want to say. But anyways, I hope you guys will like it. So this is built on a 20 by 15 in Newcrest. However, for the pictures at the end of the video, I did move it to a 30 by 20 in Willow Creek, just because when I was trying to take a thumbnail screenshot in Newcrest, there was a tree in the way, and I really wanted to take the picture from a certain angle, so I had to move it to another world. And also the sun in Newcrest is not really, it doesn't hit the house at the right spot, so it was better to just move it. But if you're confused about the bigger lot in the screenshots, that would be why I just moved it to a 30 by 20 in another world. It's no biggie. It's still a 20 by 15 on the gallery, and that's what's important. But yeah, basically we're already done with, I think, no, actually not most of the bathroom. I saved that for later. I just wanted to use the open shower that we got, the new one, so that's what I was doing first. But we have started decorating the first one of the bedrooms. So for this one, I kind of wanted it to be slightly bohemian, but not full-on bohemian. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I was going for. So you'll see the bed does have a bit of a funky color scheme to it, and later on I put in a plant over in the corner. I also add a rug that definitely looks a little bit bohemian, so that helped a bit. But then I realized that it was way too colorful, so I had to tone it down a little bit as well. But it ended up fine in the end anyways, so that's what's important. But anyways, so yeah. And also in these 2 bedrooms, you'll see that I am using a lot of wall decor, because I wanted their bedrooms to be very busy. I wanted there to be a lot going on the walls. I wanted them to be very decorated. So the same counts for the common area or the common rooms, so the living room / kitchen / dining room. Also, I didn't use a stove in this house, by the way. I was inspired by university housing, or dorm rooms, I suppose. So there's no stove in this build, but they do have a mini fridge and also a microwave, so they can cook on that, just not fancier kinds of foods. So sorry about that, Sims, but that's just how it is. You can, however, take out one of the counters and put in a stove instead, or take the mini fridge out and put in a stove, and then, I don't know, put a fridge somewhere else. You'll figure that out anyways, but I just didn't want to, I didn't want to add a stove for this one. I figured they wouldn't be like they wouldn't want to cook anyways, they'd be too busy with other stuff. And I don't know, I just kind of have this image of these two Sims being very like not into cooking and not into school and just kind of not really living very healthy, but still it's a party every day, you know, those sort of people. So to be honest, I don't think they even use the mini fridge that much. I don't think they go grocery shopping very often. In my head, I'm like, I think they mainly order food. So in this case, it would be pizza because that's what we can order. So maybe I should have found some pizza boxes and put them around the house. I don't really... Are pizza boxes in the debug catalog, or do you have to actually order them to get them? I'm not fully certain because I've never used them for decor before, so I don't really know. But that would be kind of fun if you could do that. That would have made a lot of mess in the kitchen area. I think that would have been fun, but I just didn't think that far when I was decorating. So anyways, also I've never seen them in the debug catalog either, so I don't know. If you know anything about the pizza boxes, let me know. So I think the Sim that lives in this bedroom is into school a little bit more compared to the other one. However, I think the other one is a bit of a bad influence on this Sim, so they don't end up doing their homework on time, they don't do the essays they're appointed, and you know, all that sort of stuff. I don't know projects, what are they called in English? I don't know, it's not important to me anyways. But I don't think this Sim manages to do their homework on time, and I think they have a tendency to mess up deadlines and stuff too. But I also think it's because the other Sim is a bad influence on them, so I think they kind of want to do better, but the other Sim has a tendency to just throw a lot of parties in this house, and the Sim that lives in this room is super excited about it, so they kind of like, you know, jump on board of that. Whatever, I don't know how to say that, but hopefully you guys get what I mean. So I think they want to do, like in their head, they want to do better, but I don't think they manage to, basically is my point. So, and also I had an idea that this person or this Sim would be a photographer, so that's why I put this tripod over in the corner, because I figured they would have a tripod somewhere if they're like really into photography, but yeah, you can't really actually, no, there is a tripod on that shelf unit from Mosquito Stuff Pack. I never noticed before, like I didn't notice until now. There was also a ring light. So they do have a tripod, it's just stored away. Awesome, okay. Because I was feeling really sad about deleting that tripod, but I also wanted them to have a desk, so I put that over in the corner, and then of course I couldn't fit the tripod anywhere, but there is a tripod hanging on that shelf unit, so we're all good. But they have a lot of cameras around this room. I figured it would be kind of fun for them to, I don't know, take a lot of pictures of parties and stuff. Maybe they're into some sort of other kind of photography or something, or maybe they're documenting their university experience, which for them is to throw a lot of parties. So I don't really know. Let me know if you got any ideas for what kind of photography this Sim is into. I could totally see like them being into fashion photography, but in the early stages, so they're not really sure of what to do with it, and I don't know, something like that. But let me know what you think. Also, I've pointed this out a couple of times by now, but I am actually obsessed with that little figurine that we got with Discover University. I put it in the last one of the two bedrooms as the freezer bunny, I think. I've also put it in the other room. I don't know what swatch I used though, and I've also put it in this room actually, and I used the painted on, or the painted swatch, whatever, for this room because it was super colorful, so of course I had to go with that one because this room is super colorful. It actually, I was struggling a little bit with this room because the layout was a little bit weird, and I wanted them to have a TV, but I didn't want them to have a small TV because if they're supposed to play console games together, they can use a small TV, but it's not that much fun using a small TV because you can't see, because you have to split up the screen, so you can't really see anything if the TV is too small, you know what I mean? So I wanted them to have a bigger TV for that. And then I went with the wrong color scheme because I accidentally started using red, yellow, and blue, which is not my favorite color combination. It reminds me of a kindergarten, or I don't know, something like that, like children's room or something. So I was struggling with that for a little bit, also because I really wanted to use the couch from, what's it called, Parenthood, because I think that couch goes really well with a lot of the stuff that we got with University, so I was struggling big time with that. I also tried to cover up the two pillows on the couch with the chair that we got with university, or one of the chairs at least. So I combined the two items, and it turned out that that didn't work for gameplay because my sim couldn't sit on it, so I had to delete them again, but it's all fine because I basically ended up deleting pretty much all red that I put in this room, so I just removed red from the color scheme. So we ended up going for yellow and blue, which is one of my favorite color combinations, so it's all good. And then of course I had to put in an accent wall here too. It's not a perfect fit with the blue, by the way, I do know that, but I also didn't want everything to be super matchy-matchy. I did want there to be, you know, a few puffs of color here and there that didn't fit the color scheme, just like I did in the other two rooms. They were kind of a little bit all over the place. Like the last one of the bedrooms, I did use a rug that didn't really fully match anything, I don't think. So yeah, I just wanted it to be a little bit random, but at the same time, kind of try to tie everything together. I know that doesn't make much sense, but do you guys know when you're doing landscaping and you're using a lot of rugs, or not rugs, but rugs, and you want it to look natural? So of course rugs in real life would be placed randomly, but it's really difficult to actually place things randomly because you have to think about where you're placing it, so it won't be random. It's going to be the complete opposite of what it's supposed to. That's how I felt about this color scheme. So I really wanted everything to be random, but at the same time, I also had to think about it, and I also had to make sure that it didn't turn into this chaotic mess of a color scheme. So it had to be tied together somehow. There had to be a red thread. That doesn't make any sense in English. Hopefully some of you guys out there will understand what I'm saying, but especially with the landscaping thing, I've experienced that a couple of times when I've done bigger builds where I've used a lot of rugs, and it's really difficult to place rugs where they're supposed to look natural and random, but you're like overthinking it, so it'll never be random. I don't know, it's kind of funny when you have to do stuff like that. It never turns out the way I wanted to, but that's fine. Also, by the way, the expression a red thread is Danish, but I think the English version of it is silver lining, so there's a silver lining throughout the room when it comes to the color scheme. I could be wrong though, but I think that's what it is, but again, like, I could be wrong. It's not my language. I'm doing my best here. Anyways, so moving on to the last room, which is the bathroom, and didn't have a whole lot to do in here. I didn't actually put in laundry machines in this house, but you're welcome to figure out where you want them to be if you're set on playing with laundry and you want to play in this house. You could possibly change that shower with one of the shower stalls, or not the shower stalls, but I guess you could call them a shower stall, anyways. And then put in the laundry machines next to it. You could also just turn the shower head so it's, you know, aimed towards the toilet, I suppose, but to me it just seemed more realistic to kind of close it off, because otherwise, you know, when you're showering, there's going to be water everywhere basically, so you kind of want to close off the shower a little bit so it doesn't end up everywhere on the floor, so that's what I was doing. But you can just swap it out with laundry machines or another shower if you want to and make room for the laundry machines. I just decided to use the new one because I haven't used it yet, so that's what that was about. But of course, as always, you're completely welcome to redecorate this entire house to your liking. If you have a specific household that you think the exterior is perfect for, you can totally, you know, redecorate the whole place so it suits your household. That is completely fine with me. So as for the backyard, I wanted to be just a little bit extra with the backyard, so I didn't leave a lot of room for landscaping actually, so plants or anything like that. I kind of kept it outside of the backyard. They don't really have any greenery in the backyard whatsoever. They do have a pool down here because I figured the house itself does look a little bit like a pricier house, I want to say. I could possibly imagine these two Sims to have some wealthier parents who just kind of decided to put them in this house instead of having them sleep at campus, you know? So of course they had to have a bigger, backyard pool here, and they also have some lounge chairs. They have a grill area. They also have one of those pop-up bars as well because of course it's a party house, so they needed that. I completely forgot everything about audio, like a stereo, but I also couldn't place it outside anyways because I think, as far as I've been told, rain ruins electronics in the game, so I don't want to place music things outside because they're electronics. You get what I mean? But I also forgot to place one inside, so you may possibly have to find room for that. But I think you can place it on top of the bookcase, actually, so that should be fine. But yeah, other than missing some kind of music in the backyard, they should have everything else they could possibly need to throw a pretty good party. They also have a keg, or the juice keg, whatever they call those in the game, as well in the backyard. So plenty of stuff for the Sims to do. And then also, by the way, I do know that some of you guys out there don't like when I include myself changing the color of the different lights, but because I'm not just changing the colors from yellow light to white light, I'm changing it from whatever light it was before, or whatever color it was before, to purple, pink, and also turquoise. So it looks it's a little bit different from what I usually do, and I wanted to include that in the video so you could also see what it looks like at night, because you can't really see that on the gallery, and I'm also not including pictures of it at the end of the video, so I figured I would do it at some point during the video, and I really wanted the lights to be a little bit extra. I wanted them to be a little bit party, if that makes sense. So I decided to add some color to it, and I really like to do that sometimes. I think it's quite nice. Like, it suits certain builds better, to be honest. Like family homes, maybe not so much, but I did a Necromancer's underground layer when Real of Magic came out, and basically I turned all the lights turquoise because I figured that was kind of cold and, you know, Necromancers. So it's fun to do stuff like that now and then, and that's why I wanted to include it in this video, but I do realize that some of you guys don't like it when I do that because it's a little bit abruptive to the building process, I suppose, or something, but I personally didn't mind when I used to watch speed builds. I didn't mind seeing people change the light colors, so I don't really think about it too much. But I have gotten a few comments about it, so I just wanted to explain. But anyways, I think we are pretty much done by now. I'm just adding a little bit more landscape, or doing some terrain painting, I suppose. I'm adding the keg here, and I'm also adding some lights to the pool because it's completely dark right now, and I'm not here for that, so you have to be able to swim in the pool at night, and that's why it can't be dark. That made sense. Anyways, I don't like water I love to swim, but I don't like swimming when I can't see the bottom of the pond or the pool, so lights are a must. Also, I just realized there's a flaw with the tiles here on the floor, so I'll fix that before uploading this build to the gallery. But I didn't notice, so if you're gonna point that out, I already saw. I'm gonna fix that, don't worry. And yeah, I think that's pretty much about it, so sorry for the rambling today. My throat does hurt a little bit, so this voiceover has actually been a bit of a struggle, but it's always nice to talk to you guys, so I'm not gonna skip out on a video just because my voice or my throat is a little bit hurty. That didn't make any sense anyways. But if you guys like this house, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye!